What is lust, and why does it frighten you so much? You have been told that lust is sin, something to suppress, to hide, to feel guilty about. But whatever you hide begins to rule you from the shadows. Lust is not your enemy. It is the first whisper of life, the same energy that moves the stars, that makes the flowers bloom, that gives birth to every heartbeat. The problem is not lust, the problem is your unconsciousness around it. When a man suppresses his lust, he becomes divided, a saint on the surface, a sinner underneath. When he indulges without awareness, he becomes lost, a slave to craving. But when he simply observes lust without condemnation or indulgence, a miracle happens. The same fire that once burned him begins to illuminate him. The same energy that dragged him down begins to lift him beyond himself. The hidden message behind lust is simple. Life wants to awaken through you, but you are afraid of its power. You call it wrong, evil, dangerous. You build walls of morality, masks of purity, yet behind them the fire still burns. Desire is not against spirituality. Desire is the seed of spirituality. It is through desire that the search begins. A child desires toys. A young man desires a woman. An old man desires peace, immortality, God. The object changes, but the energy behind desire remains the same. If you look deeply, all desires are one desire, the longing to dissolve, to be whole again, to return to the source. You call it lust when it moves through the body, love when it touches the heart, prayer when it rises to the soul. It is the same river flowing through different terrains of your being. So do not fight lust and do not glorify it. Just be present with it. When you feel lust, don't rush to act. Close your eyes. Feel the heat in your body. Watch how it arises, speaks, and passes away. Don't label it good or bad. Just witness. In that witnessing, you will see the hidden message. Lust is not calling you toward another person, it is calling you toward your own depth. The body longs for union because your soul remembers oneness. The urge to merge physically is a distorted echo of your eternal longing to merge spiritually. Unless you understand that, lust will remain a circle, repeating, unsatisfying, endless. You can make love 1,000 times, yet the thirst remains, because what you are seeking is not in the other, it is inside. The moment you realize this, something changes. You begin to move from lust toward love, from love toward meditation, from meditation toward bliss. This is the alchemy of awareness. The journey begins in honesty. Honesty means seeing your lust without shame. When you watch lust as a watcher, not as a sinner, not as a saint, you begin to understand its language. It speaks of energy, not morality. It speaks of life's will to express itself through you. You can channel it downward into obsession or upward into creation, compassion, and clarity. Lust is the raw energy of existence. Unrefined, it is craving. Refined, it becomes creativity. Transcended, it becomes consciousness. You cannot transcend what you reject. You can only transcend what you understand. For centuries, people have lived under the burden of guilt. They turned something sacred into something shameful because the priests were afraid of life's power, and the powerful were afraid of people who are fully alive. A man who is aware of his lust cannot be controlled. He cannot be manipulated by guilt. He is wild, whole, spontaneous, and such a man is dangerous to all systems of slavery. So they taught you to feel bad about being human. The moment you felt bad, they had power over you. My message is simple. Don't feel guilty. Feel grateful. Grateful that life still moves in you, that energy still flows, that existence has not turned you into a dead stone. Let that gratitude become meditation. Don't remain in lust. go through it. When you watch it, you purify it. When you suppress it, you pollute it. Watching is deep. Transformation. Whenever lust arises, don't be in a hurry to fulfill or to fight it. Just breathe, feel it, be there. Let it dance within you like a flame and watch in silence. Soon the same energy that wanted to possess will begin to dissolve into pure presence. Then love is born. And when love ripens into awareness, God is born in you. That is the hidden message behind lust, not sin but seed, not danger but potential, not to be destroyed but to be understood. Every human being lives between two forces, the ego and awareness. Lust belongs to the ego, love belongs to awareness. Lust says, I want to possess. Love says, I want to share. Lust takes, love gives. Yet they both arise from the same root energy. When this energy passes through the fog of ego, it becomes lust. When the same energy passes through the light of awareness, it becomes love. That is the whole difference, not in the energy, but in your state of being. The ego lives through control. It always wants to have, to dominate, to own. Even in relationships, the ego is constantly bargaining. If you love me, I will love you. If you please me, I will stay. Awareness knows no such condition. Awareness simply loves without purpose, without expectation. When the ego falls in love, it turns love into a battlefield. Two people fighting for power in the name of affection. When awareness loves, there is no war, no conquest, no victory, only presence, only being. Look at your relationships. You will find that what you call love is often attachment, the fear of being alone, disguised as devotion. Attachment says, without you I am nothing. True love says, even without you I am complete. And from that completeness I share myself with you. Attachment clings, love flows. Attachment is heavy, love is light. Attachment is born out of fear, love is born out of freedom. When lust mixes with attachment, the soul suffocates. When lust dissolves into love, the soul breathes again. This is why lust, when unconscious, always leads to pain. Because the ego is using something sacred to fill its emptiness. It wants the other to complete what it cannot find within itself. But no one can fill that void for you. As long as you seek fulfillment outside yourself, you will be disappointed. The other can only reflect what you already are. If you are empty, you will find emptiness reflected in every relationship. If you are whole, you will find wholeness reflected everywhere. So the real question is not how to control lust, but how to awaken awareness. The moment you are conscious, lust loses its grip. It does not disappear, it transforms. It becomes love, creativity, tenderness. That is why suppression never works. A repressed person may appear pure, but his purity is dead. Cold, fearful, artificial. He has killed the energy that could have become divine. Have you ever seen a river blocked by stones? It grows violent, restless, destructive. But when the same river flows freely, it sings, nourishes, and gives life to everything around it. Lust is that river. You have blocked it with guilt, shame, morality, and now it crashes inside you, creating storms of frustration. Remove the stones of judgment, and you will see how it begins to flow into love, beauty, creativity. The ego wants to possess because it is always insecure. It knows it has no real existence. It lives only through comparison. That's why lust is always followed by boredom. Once the desire is fulfilled, the ego moves on, searching for the next object, the next excitement. Because its hunger is endless, it feeds on illusion. Awareness is not hungry, it is fulfilled. When you act from awareness, even a small gesture becomes sacred. A look, a touch, a smile. You don't need to consume the other person, you celebrate them. When you are aware, love becomes meditation. When you are unaware, love becomes possession. Awareness turns lust into prayer. Unawareness turns it into addiction. The choice is simple, but no, easy. Because the ego never wants to die. It constantly whispers, without desire you will be empty. Without control you will be lost. But that is the lie. When you drop control, you don't fall, you rise. When you drop desire, you don't become empty, you become full. When you drop the ego, you don't lose yourself, you find yourself. This is the real conflict within every human being, the false self that wants to possess and the true self that wants to love. The ego shouts, awareness whispers. The ego demands, awareness waits. The ego divides, awareness unites. And lust stands exactly at the doorway between the two. It can pull you downward into unconsciousness, or it can push you upward into awakening. It all depends on whether you are asleep or aware. So next time lust arises, do not be ashamed and do not follow it blindly. Simply stop and watch who is feeling it. Is it the ego searching for excitement, or is it life itself longing to express beauty, intimacy, connection? Your answer will determine your direction. If the ego leads, lust becomes bondage. If awareness leads, lust becomes a bridge from body to soul, from form to formlessness. That bridge is love. Love is not against lust. Love is lust, illuminated by awareness. When you understand this, you no longer need to fight anything. You simply begin to live with grace. Desire is the heartbeat of existence. Without desire, there would be no life. The seed desires to become a tree. The river desires to meet the ocean. The child desires to grow. Even the stars burn because of an inner longing to shine. Desire is not wrong. It is the pulse of creation itself. But when desire loses direction, when it becomes blind, it turns into bondage. You suffer not because you desire, but because you don't understand what you truly desire. You keep chasing shadows, thinking they will give you the light. Every desire promises fulfillment, but once fulfilled, it disappears, leaving another in its place. You get what you wanted, and immediately you want something else. This endless chain is the wheel of human suffering. You can run for lifetimes, but you will never reach the destination, because desire without awareness has no destination, only movement. Understand this, desire is not a mistake. It is the teacher. It is trying to show you something deeper, that no external object can ever complete you. You have tried to satisfy it with people, possessions, power, success, recognition, and every time you are left with the same emptiness. You call it failure, but it is a message, a whisper from existence saying, look inward. Every desire begins outside, but its fulfillment lies within. The thirst is real, but the water you seek is inside you. The moment you realize this, desire changes its nature. It becomes meditation. It becomes a journey inward, not outward. When you are unconscious, desire pulls you like a chain. When you are aware, desire becomes a path of discovery. The Buddha desired enlightenment. Yet that was not the same as the desire for wealth or pleasure. It was not the desire of the ego, but the longing beyond the ego. That longing is sacred. The first step is to stop running, sit silently, and watch your desires arise. Don't label them, don't fight them, just observe. You will notice that each desire has a voice, a story, a promise. Buy this, get that. Be someone, listen carefully. Every desire says, if you achieve me, you will be happy. But happiness never comes that way, because happiness is not the fruit of desire. It is the soil from which true desire grows. When you are happy within, your desires become creative. When you are unhappy, your desires become compulsive. An artist creates out of fullness. A beggar desires out of emptiness. The same energy moves in both, but the direction is opposite. This is why Osho said, don't destroy desire, transform it. Destruction leads to repression. Transformation leads to liberation. Lust is the most basic expression of desire. It is raw, wild, innocent energy. If you condemn it, you will live a divided life, torn between guilt and longing. If you understand it, you can refine it. When you see lust clearly, you notice it is not truly about the body. The body is only a door. Behind the urge is the deeper hunger to merge, to dissolve, to forget the boundaries of I and you. That hunger is spiritual. It is the same desire that drives the mystic to seek God. Only the direction is different. The mystic turns the same longing inward. The unconscious man projects it outward. The moment you see this connection, a great shift happens. You stop feeling ashamed of desire. You begin to feel gratitude toward it, because now you see it as a doorway to truth. Desire teaches you that nothing outside will ever be enough, and that realization is the beginning of awakening. You may ask, then should I renounce all desires? No, renunciation born of repression is still desire, the desire to be desireless. Don't fight the flow of life, just observe it, live it consciously. When you eat with awareness, when you love with awareness, when you feel desire, watch it with awareness. Then slowly the energy begins to purify itself. Your craving becomes clarity. Your seeking becomes serenity. Desire burns itself out when understood. Ununderstood, it burns you. That is the hidden truth of desire. It is the fire that can either consume you or illuminate you. The choice is yours. When you are asleep, desire creates dreams. When you are awake, desire becomes meditation. And that is the transformation of energy from lust into love, from love into awareness, from awareness into bliss. Lust is the seed, love is the flower. Between them lies the journey of awareness. Lust by itself is not evil, it is simply immature. It has not yet known itself. When you are driven by lust, your energy moves outward. It seeks another person as a means to an end, as a way to release, to forget, to escape. But when awareness enters that energy, it begins to change direction. It stops running outward and turns inward. That turning is the birth of love. In lust, you want to use the other. In love, you want to understand the other. In lust, the other is an object. In love, the other becomes a mirror. When lust dominates, you are in a hurry. You want to reach somewhere, to achieve something. But love knows no hurry, because love is not going anywhere. It is content in its own presence. Lust burns fast and leaves ashes. Love burns slowly and becomes light. The transformation happens through awareness, not suppression, not indulgence, but simple, silent witnessing. When you are lustful, don't fight the feeling. Fighting gives it power. Don't follow it blindly either. Following gives it control. Just stay still and watch. Feel the fire in your body. Watch its rhythm, its wave. Something remarkable happens when you remain alert. The fire begins to rise. What was once centered in the body starts to touch the heart. The same energy that wanted to possess begins to want to connect. The same impulse that sought pleasure begins to seek presence. That is the moment lust begins to dissolve and love is born. This transformation is not moral, it is alchemical. It is not about right or wrong. It is about consciousness and unconsciousness. An unconscious man cannot love. He can only desire. A conscious man cannot lust. Even his desire becomes devotion. When love awakens, you no longer see the other as a body. You see the light shining within them. You see their essence. And then even a single glance can be more intimate than 1,000 embraces. Love has no agenda. It asks for nothing. It gives everything. It flows naturally like a breeze through an open window. In lust you fear rejection because the ego is involved. In love there is no fear because the ego is gone. When two people meet through lust, they use each other. When they meet, e.t. through love, they bless each other. Lust is a transaction. Love is transformation. You can notice this in your own life. After the physical desire is fulfilled, there is a moment of silence, a moment of peace. That moment is not coming from the satisfaction of lust. It is the moment when the mind has stopped craving. The body rests, and for a few seconds you are just being. That silent space is a glimpse of meditation. It is what your soul truly seeks, not pleasure, but peace. The mistake is that you return again and again to the act, thinking the peace comes from lust. But it never comes from the act. It comes from the stillness that follows. If you can watch that silence consciously, if you can enter it without needing the act, you will discover the real temple of love within yourself. Love is not found through another. Love begins when you meet yourself in awareness. Then when you share that love with someone, it is no longer need, it is abundance. You don't love to be complete, you love because you are complete. Two awakened beings meeting in love is not a collision. It is a communion. It is like two lamps sharing the same flame. Neither loses, both become brighter. That is what happens when lust transforms into love. The body is no longer the goal, it becomes a bridge. Through the body, the invisible meets the visible. Through love, the human touches the divine. When you love with awareness, the physical act itself becomes sacred. It is no longer lust, it becomes meditation. Two energies melting into one silence, two bodies disappearing into a shared stillness. In that moment, the ego is gone, the mind is gone, only presence remains. That is why true love always brings a sense of reverence. As if something holy has entered the room. Lust divides you from the other, love unites. Lust ends with exhaustion, love ends with expansion. Lust is about taking, love is about giving. Lust wants to possess, love wants to dissolve. And the key to this transformation is awareness. You cannot force lust to become love. You can only bring the light of consciousness to it, and the rest happens on its own. Just as sunlight transforms a seed into a flower, awareness transforms lust into love. So don't be afraid of lust, don't condemn it, use it as a mirror to know yourself. Every time you feel that heat, that pull, that hunger, stop for a moment. Ask yourself, what am I truly seeking? If you go deep enough, you will find it is not the body you desire. It is connection, intimacy, understanding, union. And those are not physical needs, they are spiritual. The body is only the surface, the soul is the depth. When you love someone's soul, their body becomes beautiful in your eyes, no matter how it appears. When you only desire their body, even beauty becomes boring. Lust fades, love deepens. Lust possesses, love frees. Lust consumes, love creates. So let your desire become your teacher. Let your passion become your path. Because hidden inside the flame of lust is the light of divine love, waiting to be revealed through awareness. Awareness is the fire that transforms everything it touches. Lust, anger, greed, fear, whatever enters the light of awareness begins to lose its poison and reveal its essence. Without awareness, even love can become bondage. With awareness, even lust can become liberation. Awareness does not fight the darkness, it simply brings light. And when light is present, darkness disappears on its own. This is the secret of transformation, not suppression, not control, but elimination. When you suppress, you divide yourself. One part of you wants something, another part condemns it. You become a battlefield, constantly at war with yourself. But when you are aware, you watch both the desire and the resistance. You don't choose sides, you simply witness what is. In that witnessing, a deep stillness arises. And from that stillness, understanding blooms. Lust, when watched, loses its urgency. It melts into peace. The same energy that once pushed you outward now begins to rise upward from body to heart, from heart to soul. That rising is the inner ascension. People ask, how can I control lust? You cannot. Control belongs to the ego. Awareness belongs to the soul. Control suppresses. Awareness transforms. The more you try to control, the more you strengthen the very thing you want to overcome. What you resist persists. What you watch dissolves. Awareness has no weapon. It has only presence. And yet that presence is more powerful than any struggle. When you are fully present, lust becomes transparent. You can see through it. You see that it is just energy, raw, natural, innocent. You stop labeling it as good or bad. You begin to understand that it is life itself moving through you. And when you accept it totally, without judgment, something miraculous happens. Acceptance becomes transformation. Awareness is the alchemy that turns base metal into gold. It turns desire into devotion, lust into love, craving into creativity. That is why meditation is the ultimate art, the art of transforming energies. When you meditate, you are not fighting yourself, you are understanding yourself. You are not running from desire. You are looking into it deeply until its root is revealed. Once you see its root, it can no longer control you. It loses its grip because it has been seen. The unobserved mind is the prison. The observed mind is the doorway to freedom. Awareness is like the sun, silent, steady, impartial. It shines on everything equally. It doesn't choose, it doesn't condemn. It simply reveals. And revelation is healing. When you bring awareness to lust, it begins to purify itself. When you bring awareness to fear, courage is born. When you bring awareness to anger, compassion arises. Awareness does not destroy, it redeems. It brings everything back to its natural harmony. Look at nature. A storm may come, but the sky remains untouched. Clouds pass, winds roar, lightning strikes. The sky remains the sky. Your awareness is that sky. Lust, anger, desire, they are just clouds passing through it. You are not the cloud. You are the sky. When you forget this, you are caught in the storm. When you remember it, you become the witness, vast, still, unshaken. The moment you become the witness, transformation begins. Because now energy is no longer wasted in conflict. It becomes available for growth, for creativity, for awakening. A man who knows how to watch his desires becomes a master of himself. He is not against life, he is in harmony with it. He does not divide heaven and earth, he brings them together within himself. That unity is the essence of awareness. In awareness, you begin to see that lust and love, body and soul, matter and spirit are not opposites, but two ends of the same spectrum. When you are unconscious, you live at the lower end, dense, heavy, possessive. When you are conscious, the same energy becomes luminous, light, free. You don't need to climb to heaven, you only need to wake up. This is the miracle of awareness. It changes nothing on the outside, yet everything inside you shifts. And once the inner shifts, the outer begins to mirror it. Relationships become more peaceful. Desires become more refined. Life becomes more meaningful. Because now you are not being lived by your instincts. You are living consciously. You are no longer reacting, you are responding. You are no longer a slave of energy, you are its master. And mastery does not mean control, it means harmony. When you are aware, lust dances within you like a flame, beautiful, alive, but harmless. It no longer burns you, warms you, gives light to your love, depth to your art, sensitivity to your soul. That is the purpose of awareness, not to kill energy but to liberate it. In the presence of awareness, everything false dies and everything true flowers. The unconscious man chases pleasure and meets suffering. The conscious man embraces suffering and discovers bliss. This is the reversal that awareness brings. It turns your entire being inside out, from seeking to seeing, from doing to being. And then for the first time you understand what freedom truly means. Freedom is not the absence of desire, it is the presence of awareness. Freedom is not about renouncing the world, it is about waking up within it. When you are aware, even ordinary moments become sacred. Eating, walking, loving, breathing, all become meditations. You begin to live as if everything is divine, because in truth, it is. The alchemy of awareness reveals this divinity in all things. In lust, in love, in longing, in loneliness. When you see everything with the eyes of awareness, nothing is impure, nothing is wasted, nothing is separate from the sacred. That is the ultimate transformation. Now you've seen the movement of energy from lust to love, from desire to devotion, from unconscious seeking to conscious being. The question is no longer, how do I escape it? But rather, how do I live with it, awake? Do not run from the fire. Sit close enough to feel its warmth. Watch it. Learn its language. Let awareness breathe through every experience. When lust arises, look at it without fear. When tenderness comes, welcome it without clinging. Both are waves in the same ocean. As you learn to watch, a subtle shift begins. You are no longer the one who burns in desire. You are the space in which the fire burns. That space is your real nature, silent, unmoved, whole. To live from that space is meditation. You do not have to leave the world. You have to leave your sleep. Be alert while walking. Be present while eating. Be aware while touching, speaking, loving. Let awareness become your fragrance. When you love, let your love be full of consciousness. Then even the smallest gesture becomes sacred. The body remains, the senses remain. But now they serve something higher. They are no longer masters, they are instruments of awareness. This is what the mystics call transformation, the ordinary made extraordinary through presence. And when you live in this presence, nothing is divided anymore. Mind and body, earth and sky, male and female, all dissolve into one flowing unity. Then lust no longer hides a secret. It becomes the secret itself, the pulse of existence reminding you to wake up. So do not condemn what you feel. Do not escape into ideals. Go into the feeling with eyes open and let the light of understanding do its work. In the light, everything returns to innocence. Love becomes prayer. Touch becomes communion. Silence becomes celebration. This is the hidden message behind lust. Life wants to merge. It wants to return to wholeness. You are that wholeness. When you see this, the chase ends. Desire relaxes, being begins. Nothing is missing anymore. Nothing needs to be grasped or rejected. You have come home to yourself. And in that homecoming, there is peace and a joy that has no opposite. Sit silently for a moment. Feel your breath entering, leaving. Feel the stillness between two breaths. That stillness is your essence. That stillness is the real miracle. Stay there.